David Oakley. Good evening, heroes and heroines, and welcome back to Practising Programming in C, where I believe we've done everything right. We are recording. We are on the right scene. We've got the mic coming through correctly, and we have queued up our music. And Jesse is going crazy in the chat, which is always good to see. No, I did. I knew full well you were going to be here, dude, because of the what do you call it? The Matrix. Because of our psychic link. So last stream, we managed to get rid of the project info and that other array. What was the other array? We did project info and the category mediums. Right, we got rid of those two hard-coded arrays. So now all of the stuff to do with those things that somebody would potentially need will be retrieved from the config. The final one of these to get rid of is the credentials. And part of the credentials is the support icons. I sort of had a quick look at this towards the end of the last stream just to get a vague idea as to what would happen, what would need to happen. And I haven't really had any good ideas. It's basically the kind of slight sticking point is how to handle these support icons, because basically I'll just show you. If I just kill, in fact I think I can just kill that, can't I? Well, I need to kill the whole lot. So yeah, I'll just delete what I deleted last time. So delete all that, and then the first thing I end up seeing is this credential info for the speaker. I think actually I then looked down to here, didn't I? In it built-in assets, and yeah, so I was looking at all this kind of stuff. Is that what I did? I think it was actually something to do with landmarks. It was offset landmarks, wasn't it? So yeah, I got down to this this thing here. So this thing gets called when you process the credits menu within the actual menu. You need to offset those dudes so you've got the actual correct location of these images. Now we are going to include a Sendal icon and a Patreon icon with Cinera, and by default, if we go to defaults, by default we're going to push on to the configuration a support for Patreon, which includes its icon and its URL, and support for Sendal, and those are exactly these two dudes here. So icon Sendal refers to this thing, icon Patreon refers to this, sorry, other way around. Sendal is that, Patreon is this. So we are going to have these available. The question though is, in offsetting these landmarks, we might have to offset other logos, right? Because these are only the things that we've set here, that we're setting as defaults, but there's nothing to stop a user adding another support, or even just setting a sprite that they want that's different from the defaults, right? And if they do that, they set that for a person, and that person appears in the credits, we're going to have to offset their landmarks, the landmarks for those images. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure. That's basically the situation in terms of what's making this a little bit more taxing. So I think what I'm going to do, just undo that deletion. Just see if Jesse's got any good ideas. Yes, of course. I think I'm going to keep this enum around just for the time being, so that particular, so that wherever we need to use this, wherever we're currently using this, it still kind of works. But I'm going to delete the credential info and see and be guided by that deletion to see what we need to do, right? And then as we go through this, I think it should just kind of emerge how this thing gets communicated through, right? Pushing on the landmarks and all that kind of stuff. And I think when we see how we push on those landmarks, I think that is going to inform our offset support function. It might not do, but that's kind of the that's the hope that it will. So deleting these dudes, and let's see where we go to. So the speaker credential, do a push speaker type of thing. I think this wants to change to be a person, right? I think that's what we're talking about here. So they will have an abbreviation, which is still fine. Maybe, yeah, the push speaker type of thing could be appropriate here as well, actually. You know, if you push on abbreviation. So the idea would be, so a speaker is specific to a HTML file. So it's specific to a set of annotations. So you would basically be pushing these guys on when you do when you kind of process a set of annotations, and then once you've processed everything, once you've outputted the HTML, you then free the speakers. I think is what you want to be doing. I think that is what you want to do. You wouldn't free the actual member itself though. Because they can remain in the thing. All you want is to have a pointer into the config, I think is what you want. Yeah, that kind of makes sense to me. And I think I will do this push speaker type of thing. Yeah, I will do that. So, uint 64 underscore t count. Gonna have number of speakers. And the abbreviation is going to be a pointer, so we can do whatever we like. How should I order these guys? This is the pointer, this is the pointer. This is a bool. This is large, so that should go at the top, I think. Then we do, I wonder if we've got the fit function available here. Push speaker. So it's going to have to take the speakers, isn't it, clearly. And then some information. Surely it's got to be it's just this garbage, isn't it? I think when you, like that bull scene, I think when you push a person on, they will not have been seen at that point. Or to put it another way, actually, when you push somebody on, because what this scene boolean is supposed to be doing is it lets the, you know, they've got this abbreviation. The person has got a full name, right? I'll just show you this. So now the person has got a name. So the name is going to be something like Matt Mascarenhas. The abbreviation is going to like abbreviate them to MM if possible. It abbreviates to different things. So abbreviations clash. Sort and abbreviate speakers, yeah. So there's these different abbreviation schemes. It's basically, it tries to get the first substring. I think if they clash, yeah, then it says if they clash. If they do, then it goes on to initial and final, get final string. Click option F4, and then it just does the full thing. I don't think that's going to fly, actually, is it? Because now that we're changing abbreviation to be a car star, we're going to have to actually make a string here. So I guess, yeah, when abbreviations clash, when we do this, if these, so when we're comparing to, you know, all of the speakers, if they clash, I think at that point we'd have to free that abbreviation. Is that right? For both of them, maybe. Get first substring. Speaker this guy goes over them all. I presume this is kind of doing everything right. Oh, actually, the first thing it does is initial string, right? Yeah, so that basically turns that into MM. And then if the abbreviations are clashing, I guess we could have done this in a do while loop. Actually, we could do while, and then initial string is the first attempt, basically. But that's by the by. Get first substring, I think would. What's that going to do? I think what that would try and do is produce that. I think initial and get final string will try and produce this, and then finally, if all else fails, it just does this. I think that's what that's supposed to do. Pretty goddamn sure that in changing that abbreviation we'll be guided down to handle this. Actually, maybe we won't, because it kind of is a car starry kind of a thing. Or it kind of was, that sort of thing. Yeah, that's interesting. I think I might have to leave it to do down here. Sort of abbreviate speakers. Just to make sure that we don't forget to handle this. So probably yeah, I think we do have to do that, don't we? Like, we're not going to have a store of anything. Like, you can't just point to something because that ain't stored. We need to generate the abbreviations, and the abbreviations are specific to the actual set of people that you've got, because you might be able to disambiguate them by just saying the first thing, initial string, right? So what that means is, like, you could start with Matt Musgrenus and Mark Maron. Is that how you spell his name? I can't remember if it's like that or like that. Right. Those guys are both going to evaluate to be that. Right. So they'll clash. Get first substring would do Matt and Mark, and that would be fine. So that's basically what's going on. And if those two guys are not in the same set of speakers, then we could conceivably have used a different type of abbreviation scheme. So yeah, we can't push on the abbreviation when we push a speaker, I don't think. That would have to happen. I think that would have to happen once we've got everybody together. Right, is that right? Sort and abbreviate speakers, yeah. So it kind of seems like credential info temp. I mean, that's just going to be a pointer, so you just change the pointer. Speak size greater. So it goes over all the guests. Search credentials. I'll tell you what. Build credentials. Build credits, rather. I think this is a bit cheesy. I think the search credentials person is the one that's responsible for pushing it on. Yeah, here you go. Push speakers. Speakers count. So this is all going to have to change. Speakers. So it's going through them all. If by the time it hasn't been found, you've returned that it hasn't been found. If strings differ, the person is being passed in. We're matching that against the credentials array. If that person is in the credentials array, then we say if speakers. Can that ever not be true? Yeah, it cannot be true here. Jesus. And that's the last of them. So that's where search credentials have been used. Credits menu is the person where I put in all the stuff. Probably search credentials is actually stuffing that on. So I guess rather than doing that push speakers I was about to do, we should change this to be like a push. Change search credentials to be a push speaker. Does that sound reasonable? So you loop over all of those dudes, looping over the co-hosts, the guests. So you've got the host. So you push the host on. Push on the co-hosts and guests. You sort those dudes. And you only bother to sort those because sort and abbreviate them. Because those are the ones who kind of appear in the actual stuff. In the markers. Whereas the annotators just appear in the menu, so they don't matter. I don't think. So then you just loop over those and you push those guys on too. Right? So you push them on. And we're building up the... So what we're doing here is we're building up this credits menu here. Right. Start putting that stuff into the credits menu buffer. Yeah, I am inclined to change this. So yeah, where did I get up to in my sentence? Build credits is where we are. Right, push speaker. So basically what I'm kind of driving at is where is all that stuff? Search credentials. I think it's just down here, isn't it? Where we need the speakers. Right. This is pretty hairy actually because I'm still not able to test anything. Right? So I'm going to be writing all this crap and I'm still not going to be testing it until I can actually use the config. I don't think it should be a problem though. So we don't have a get person, I don't think, do we? Well, maybe we do. And I presume the get person is taking the config, isn't it? Yeah, it is the main config. Ah, it is resolution errors. Get person. And a person ID. I guess we could make a new function that's get person from config. I know that's kind of a bit cheesy because this is getting it from the config. But really what I'd like to be able to do I think we needed it to take the pair because that gives us the position, doesn't it? So we can push the error on, yeah. So that isn't appropriate. We can just reasonably take a string, which is just going to be the person's ID, and the config we need to take too. Although I guess the config could be global. Metadata member. I'm missing some stuff. Add a functionality to the emojis. I guess I can do this stuff. Kind of weird. So what is that? That looks like a lying down little kind of penguin sort of thing. Whatever you call those dudes. Is it My Neighbor Totoro? Let's have a look at this. Yeah, one of these guys, I think. Looks like one of them lying down, whatever he is. Oh, it's a cat. Oh, here is a cat. Okay, that's unfortunate I can't see that. Oh, that looks cool. That does look like a cat as well. I want to see what Satoru is now. Sprays. Black sock. I don't think it's this dude. Yeah, in Spirited Away they appear, don't they? Carrying coal. Yeah, anyway. So, cornbread is still up, you can see, by the way. So what we're saying is, person get person from config, and let's just throw up a main config. Do we need to bother with saying it's main? Does that appear anyway? Config default config, like that's going. Yeah, this stuff is going. Okay, so I think we could reasonably just, yeah, also, well, I mean, for all that, make it a pointer to a config. Right, so then that's going to be the thing, that when we do parse config, we're just going to be setting that to be this result. Put it there. So we've established that it's global, and now, right, it's not void, it's a person. So this is going to be taking the string person. So it's 2 length strings, isn't it? Right, and then if we've got the host, then we want to push that host onto the speakers, don't we? Right, we're only going to encounter, you know, when we see these dudes down here, we're only going to encounter each of these once, right? So I think we are reasonably okay to do that. Also, I wonder, by the way, the sort and abbreviate speakers. What is it sorting them in exactly? Like, why is it sorting, I wonder? It's just sorting them into the speakers thing. Like, why does that care what order they're in? because when you come to output them as well, I guess, yeah, I suppose, yeah, when you come to output them, you're going to be going over the speakers, and although you are going to be outputting the host first, then the annotator, well, you output the host, then you output the co-host, then the guest, then the annotator. Annotators, you do want to output them in some sort of sorted order. So is that even what we're seeing here? So we've got cases, then we've got Jace. So Jace is, where's he? Well, I'm below Jace, right? And I'm here. I guess J's before M. Jace Bennett. So there's Jace. So yeah, I guess it's not. So JM. Emmanuel Vaccaro. Yeah, Mannerly. So that he should be after me, right? If this is to be believed, if it's sorting, Ben Craddock. The internet for the win, so that's T. And then Tim Liu is Wheat Dog. So Miblo and Mannerly are sorted in the opposite order to what I'd expect. So maybe that's just busted. It's not sorting by by the first names either. It just seems like this is on episode 1. Which is this episode here. So you've got Jace, me, Mannerly, yep, need to have the win, and we dog. So yeah, it's simply just output them in the order that we put them here. So why that guy sorts, I still just don't know. Jesse, you got nothing to add to that particular line of inquiry? Oh, we don't sort the annotators. That's what's going on there. That's probably all that we're seeing. So we're sorting we're sorting the dudes up above and abbreviating them because they are speakers and they could appear in the episode. And to show you just what I mean, right. We've got these credits: Casey, Andrew, and me. So we output the host, guest, annotator. I mean, that's not saying anything about sorting, but you can see in terms of the abbreviations. So in this annotation up here, Casey was the speaker. It's because you can see that his name is highlight, and then there's a colon. That's just the convention that I kind of established. So he occurs first with his full name, then Andrew occurs with his name, and then from thereafter you just get A, B and CM. Why did I look at that then? Oh yeah, it was just to demonstrate who is actually getting, who is appearing in the thing, like who should be getting their abbreviations done, right? And you never see me occur. You never see Matt Mascarenhas occurring in here because he doesn't have anything to say. He might pop up in a question, right? As Miblo, so he just shows up as Miblo, and he doesn't get his full name, as it shouldn't. I don't think. I suppose it might be nice after having pushed the annotators on. It might be nice to sort them. Well, hold on a second. Now that I think about it, this is writing it straight into the credits menu. So when they write it in, it's just, that's it, isn't it? Like they are where they are. You're not going to be pushing them on. You're not going to be sorting them after you've written that stuff into that buffer. Metadata guests, speakers. Oh, actually, it's not, is it? Oh, well, maybe it is. Person. Yeah, it is doing that credits menu. What I was kind of wondering was, does this just does it just output the starting stuff, like the container for it, and then leave the actual persons themselves pushed on later? But that doesn't seem to be what's happening. Credits menu. What we're trying to do here, by the way, is push on this person, right? If you've got a host, we're not going to have to report this, right? Because we're going to warn about it already, aren't we? If you remember, if somebody sets the owner to be somebody who doesn't exist, like Jesse, owner set but the person does not exist, right? Could not find person Jesse. So we're only considering it as a warning, which is kind of interesting. That would suggest that we could actually get through to where we are here, and we could say, get that person. We could try and get that person, and we could fail. Should that be allowed? Sort of seems to me like that shouldn't be allowed. Shouldn't we just totally error out if a person cannot be found? So yeah, it's warning if these don't exist. Yeah, I think we probably should. Let's continue anyway. I think what I'm thinking we want to do is say if we've got a host, then push them onto the push speaker, push person onto credits menu, or I guess push credentials. Now, let's see up here. So we've got credits menu, person and role. So this role could just be using an enum, couldn't it? I feel like that's just a given, isn't it? Right, we'd have a string for that role. Let's do that as a first thing. Did we actually have that already, actually? So yeah, we do have the added annotator. I mean, I guess we could kind of just use that directly, but we might want a more restricted number of these dudes. So what do we have? I didn't guess. Yeah, I think we might want to have and we're going to have role host, role co-host. So that's everyone. Annotator, guest, co-host, and host. So it's going to take the credits menu, has credits menu, the actual dude that we're pushing on. Well, it's going to take the actual person, isn't it? The person, their role, and the speaker's array. So it's buffer. Now, has credits menu. Couldn't we just use like the pointer in the location of the credits menu buffer to see whether we've written anything into it? I think we can totally do that, because it's just saying here if we haven't got a credits menu, then we need to write that stuff into it, and then we set has credits menu to true, so we don't do that again. But what I'm saying is just use the credits menu point as a location. That seems like a lot more sensible thing to do. Build credits. So then again, like if the credits menu pointer is greater than the location. That just seems like a lot more sane way of doing it to me. So you're not passing this garbage around. So yeah, screw that. If we've got the credits menu, buffer credits menu. What else do we need? Search credits. Search credits is what we're kind of using. So we want the speakers as well, I guess. Let's take these two things. The string actor and their role. Okay. So, sorry. To the actual person. So here we go. Push credentials onto the credits menu. To the speakers, the actor, and their role. Okay. Then let's just grab search credentials. From file. So what is found false supposed to be telling us? So that was, this was supposed to be doing what get person from config. So we don't need to care about found false. Push credentials. Surely we need to fit. We need to fit our person into the the speaker's thing. That's what's kind of going on here. So let's do that first of all. God damn it! So weird trying to like retrieve what you're trying to do. So it's that the count, I presume. Then the number of them, let's say 4. I do want to clear it, sure. So you fit that. Then you say the speakers person at speakers count. Hold on. Speakers, speaker. So it's actually this. So that needs to be that. We don't know the colour, do we? The abbreviation we don't have either. And C will be set to false. Do we do the colours actually? Yeah, it seems like we don't care about the colours at this point. I don't understand exactly why we shouldn't though. So there's that happening. So it's only in the string to call hash that would... Sorry, it's only in the sort and abbreviate speakers that the string to call hash is happening. Okay, fine. At least it is happening though. And the abbreviation thing does that as well. So I think the push is just doing all that it needs to do, isn't it, now? I've got the abbreviations declared as well. I mean, that just kind of suggests actually that when we do this, why don't we just set the colour straight up? Sorry, why don't we set the abbreviation straight up? Oh, you can't because, yes, right, you can't set the abbreviation because we need to wait until we've got everybody so we can figure out if they're going to clash. That was a thing, wasn't it? It wasn't a thing. So what's the role being used for? Oh, it's just being used in here. Is that right? So you do this. Search credentials. Are we basically saying that we need to do the entirety of search credentials? Is that what we're saying? I think it is, isn't it? What information do we need? We need the homepage URL, the role, the credited name, the role credited name, support URL, the URL. Construct resolved asset URL. So that's a support icon index. Oh shit. So there we go. Support icon index. Oh, but the person has it. The person has their own support icon URL. Or rather, they got their own support icon file name. So we can pass that to the construct result as a URL, no problem. Can't we? And then we set that here. And then push asset landmark. Right, yeah. And this push asset landmark. Where's this game called? It gets called here. Support icon index. Asset image filter. Now, are there places where this gets pushed on for generic things? Template metadata tags asset index. So the template apparently has asset indices. Is that saying that it's got a separate asset index? Templates. Let's just have a quick look at this. So template metadata asset index is a tag offset. Now pack template. There's the template. Didn't we just go right down here? Asset index. So in these cases, parse asset string. So we've got the tag index. Asset index is apparently 0 to start with. Interesting. Push assets. So asset index pointer. Probably increments. This guy probably increments it. Or this guy rather. And the asset string pointer. Where's that? Click that's a buffer. So it produces that file name. So I guess it does end up using the same thing. This needs to return the place asset. Asset index pointer. That is incrementing that. So it increments that. If strings differ, then we break. Otherwise, we place the asset. Position. Does the count get incremented somewhere? Or is it fit that does the count increment? Oh no, the asset count goes up there. Gosh, that's a bit hidden, isn't it? That ain't gonna work. Oh yeah, it is, because we changed it. So that was all prompted by seeing what search credentials does, wasn't it? Right, we spotted that this does something with the pushing asset landmarks, and it used this support icon index for it. Now, the template stuff pushes an asset landmark on. So that figured out what that was. I think for each file, for each HTML file, actually, we probably want to do a get asset, don't we? Yeah, that is probably what you want to do. So you have a get asset from that array. And then you push the asset landmark for that asset. So you don't talk about indices. I suppose the question then is, when you come to offset, how do you get the asset that you want to be talking about? Offset landmarks. We can't use icon send-al, right? Perhaps these offset landmarks star could be made redundant / generalized once we're on the LUT. I think this should change to be if it shouldn't be hidden or whatever. Let's at least get some of this in. Now, if speakers is garbage, isn't it? Right. And found equals true is also garbage, so we don't need any of that. If has credits menu. Right, here we go. If credits menu pointer is equal to the credits menu location. That means it hasn't moved anywhere, so we need to copy string to that buffer. Right, that's going to then move the pointer along. Now, having done that, we do this. We do that. If if the actors has a homepage URL, oh shit. You know what I just realised? The actor can have multiple supports. Let's just get it working with at least with one for now. the role is going to be the role strings. That's good. Good and easy. And then the actors, the name. Does not support. It's just their person name. Otherwise, role strings role and their credited name. So we managed to do that lot, and then after having pushed that out, we then say oh, sorry, that was not right. It's a different thing. Oh, and also, is it URL or is it homepage? It's homepage. Right. Right, okay, I think we're getting there. So we've done that, and now we're saying if they've got a support, we need to output that, and we need to do this pushing of landmarks somehow. And multiples of orgasms, and also let's just mark that up as an AFD. So if they have a support, we just do this stuff, don't we? And then finally stuff the span on. So this is, yeah, we've deleted the credential index, but what that's talking about there is it's talking about this, right, which corresponds to the support icon index. And the support icons we do still actually have. It's these bastards here. So they're talking about, this is the support icon, clearly. So we've got our person, because drop resolved URL is going to have to take, oh, it's taking an asset index. Yeah, right. Fucking hell. I guess, who calls this the support icon index? Support icon index. Asset image filter. Okay, so I think it is still useful. And yeah, like I was saying, this calls it on this value here. When you pass in the config, maybe what you want to do what is I here? I is the metadata tag count. Does it only need to care about the type? In other words, does it only need to know if it's an image or a CSS or whatever? Because if you look at this, for the metadata tag count, the tags are things like these guys. Tag project ID, tag project, search URL. No, J was initialized up here. What I'm basically driving at is if I is looping over the metadata tags, the template tags essentially, if that's what it's doing, then it's looping over a thing that doesn't know about the file names, surely. Asset index. Although maybe it kind of does actually. From the asset index. So again, when we pack template, what we're looking to do here is see how that asset index is being used. And it's under these guys. Right, parse asset string. Asset index is there. So this guy knows about the asset index. So asset index has been passed in by address here. So in the case of an asset, CSS, an image, and a JS, we call parse asset string, passing in the asset index. haven't done that, we record that. Push template tag is the only thing that uses that asset index. Parse asset string. So that simply pulls that out. Parse quoted string. I think it resolves everything, doesn't it, as well? Maybe not. But after having parsed it, bearing in mind that asset type just gets set to one of these, tag asset CSS image JS. So we'd be wanting to talk about tag image, surely. An asset image. I think what that means is that the images will be looked up. You know, if an asset is set to asset image, then it will use the configured images directory to resolve its, to construct its path. The asset index pointer, though, can kind of be 0, can't it? That can be passed in as 0. So the asset, yeah, the asset string is taking the file name. Yeah, and it even sets that index pointer to 0. So whatever this comes in as, you just, that's just a place to store this value. And then it does this thing here. If it breaks out of the loop, then it places that asset, and it will have set the asset index pointer . So yeah, that is passing it an asset image. So a support icon is passing it as an asset image. Support icon index. Where's that coming from? That's just here. Okay, so this is supposed to be placing these guys after the built-in assets. Now, the assets, by the way, are global, hence we're never passing them in. Push asset. So I could be way off base here. But I think that what needs to happen here is we should just be able to call push asset on the file name. I think we want to make push asset take a string file name so we can actually push our thing directly and not bother to have to make a not terminated string out of it. So yeah, I think they'd all have to take both those guys have to take a string. But I think if we, in this case, just call push asset, passing the file name, the type could be asset image, and the asset index point, it doesn't matter what you pass it in, just pass it something that you can store the value. Then if I'm not mistaken, where's known exactly? Assets out of position known. So this is going to be looking over the assets. See if it's known. I mean, I can't really tell exactly, but I presume it won't add on, it won't push one on if it's already on the thing, basically. I think we should just be able to do push asset, storing the asset index pointer off so that we can push the asset landmark using that index that we were just returned. The better way to do it would be to actually push these dudes on, push the asset landmarks on early. You know, push them on when we pass the config. but then we would be in the situation where we'd need a get asset call, so we can loop over these assets here to find the asset and pass that asset to push asset landmark. I think that's where we want to be. We want to be heading towards that sort of a situation, actually. So rather than having to deal with picking out the index, you just do what we've been doing. The get whatever, and pass that thing straight in, and that'll be a pointer to this actual thing, or well, it'll be a pointer to the asset, and then that will contain all the information that we need for it. Do we actually have that? It'd be insane if we do. I've gone through that whole process. It's like, I've just got it. Yeah, we don't. Push asset landmark. That's going to be incrementing these dudes. And also, I'll probably be able to just remove the capacity. Does this get stored in the database actually with the capacity in? I hope it doesn't. No, I'm sure it doesn't actually, because it'll be a DB asset. But for now, until we actually do this properly, when we do a push credential rather, whatever that is. Right, when we do this, when we come down to this push asset landmark, I think we want to first of all push asset. So you can see that this thing is using the same thing. Now let's just change this to take a string. What's dying? And also because it's in the DB, it's probably going to be not terminated. Sorry, it's probably going to be implicitly not terminated. So let's just 100% double check that. The DB asset file name. DB asset file name, yeah, it's sized. So that'll be implicitly not terminated. I suppose that's, now think about it, why not just say that this is the file name is a string? I guess we don't care. So this needs to then take a okay, so that's putting us at the end of the string. So path with a base, with a path base at length -1. Should I just zero this out for just a moment? I think we do want to set that assets.count. The init built-in assets, yeah, because let's let it happen. But let's to do it. Think deeply. How and when we push these support icons. That it right, is it? AI asset index. There's my implementation, my artificial intelligence implementation. Right, and then search credentials, which is just bogus. So let's just if zero it out. Although actually, I guess that's if AFE, is that the one that we're using? AFE, yeah. So we can still see it. Sort and abbreviate speakers. Has no member named credential. Speakers speaker. Person. Person ID. And also, was that a pointer? I think it was, wasn't it? Oh, actually. Yeah, we need to know how to sort them. Yeah, so what do we have for these? Strings differ. Actually, let me sort. we got to the end of both strings, return 0. Else if I is equal to the A length, return that. Else if I is equal to the B length, return 1. And then if we haven't, and then we can assume that we can actually return we can actually compute, we can actually dereference this thing. Because you don't want to get in a situation where you're trying to compare, you're trying to get this character here if it's past the end of the string, because it wouldn't be relevant. So that's what you want. So if I should be after J, then what we want to do is, it's not credential info, it is a person, isn't it? So I wonder here if initial sweep, if we should actually say so remember we push this person on, I feel like initial string should return the actual thing that it needs to be returning. Cast R. So we set the speaker's abbreviation to be equal to the result of this initial string. I think that's what you want. Then you can basically free that thing up. You can make initial strings say well, you can't actually, can you? So this shouldn't build, should it? Because initial strings need to take a string. Although, actually, now think about it, DB asset file name. I think we need to wrap that up, actually. Just be on the safe side. Yeah, and the thing about wrapping that up is that it's going to produce an actual string rather than a pointer to a string, which you need to pass to strings diff for via, VV, LVL, LVO. Yeah, and this is exactly what we're up to, isn't it? Initial string. I think this is more correct now. That's fine. That we free it. Set it to 0. Extend string 0 takes a string, doesn't it? Yeah, so it's pretty goddamn cheesy, but let's just say so this is going to add the first character. I guess we could also start off with the first character, couldn't we? The character after the first, rather. If it is a thing, they want to increment past the thing and say if there's a source, well, actually, we already know that, don't we? We want to increment past and then just do this car thing again. I think. Right. But this time the car base is going to be equal to the source base plus I. Car length is, again, it's still, that remains to be 1. And then you just extend that string. Dest. Oh shit. Well, yeah, it isn't. It extends 0. Does that add the 0 by the null terminator? It does add the 0 terminator. Doesn't it? Yes, it does. So I think we're in business here. So in the same way, get first substring. So this is going to take a source string. Let's just see if that even builds for a start. Initial string. Doesn't like that. What's he supposed to take? Oh, it's not a pointer to a string, it's just a string. That seems okay to me, I think. So it'll basically go through the entire string. If it encounters the space, it'll set that as the substring. Oh, we need to return the dest. Jesse got to get himself something to eat. Haven't we all, mate? Haven't we all? So that dest size doesn't need to happen. Okay. So we already know the source length. So we don't need to do that. I think we're basically trying to find out the final string. So let's find that first. Actually, I'll tell you what. Let's develop this in a separate function file, actually. I think that would be a bit more fruitful. And let's do them all, actually. Okay. So we're not going to be using copy string. String length, we're probably not even going to be using that either. Source length we will need. Free will need, so extend string 0 we need. And string length we do actually need. Okay, so I guess actually let's first of all try doing a get first substring. Just check that we've got that right. Oh, we're gonna need a make string. Well, no, we can wrap one, can't we? Okay, so Jesus, string name. Let's just say we've got a destination. Let's say a brief is equal to, what should we say, initial string? So that's working. Get first substring. I suppose actually we could do this a bit differently, couldn't we? We could sort of say that works. So then we need initial and get final string. So I believe what we're doing here is we're getting the position of the start of the string. So we're going to the end of the string, trying to go to the space and then forwards. So it needs to be before the thing, but forwards. So it's like find. So we need find a string. It's just the original length take away I, isn't it? So if we just do this first, what do we get? Well, so with a bit of luck, this should show my surname. It does. Cool. But I can't actually extend that string yet. I first of all need to go back and I need to say while Okay, then we need to be looping. Probably. You need to go from the beginning again. And you're basically saying so that is always going to get set, isn't it? That found string base is the end, so that is always going to be set to the end. So yeah, that is always going to be somewhere within the string. We're not going to have a problem with that. For int I is equal to 0, I is less than the found string base. So if it's before the found string base, then I reckon what you do is you extend the string. Basically what we're doing is it's an initial followed by a dot, followed by a space. So we don't extend that, right? We leave that until the end. We do that, and then you extend it by a further bit of information. And then you need to skip past all the letters to the next space. Let's just see what we get first. Yeah, actually. Do we get then Mascarenhas? Yeah, we do. So that ain't right because we need to actually get all the initials. So let's just say. Actually, let me tell you what. Here's a fun one to do. Richard, John, Split. Is that how you spell split? Yeah, double T. So what we want to do here is we're going through the string. Actually, yeah, we'll probably just do the preamble. So that it's while. We need to just do the while on the equals. That's all it is. Yeah. So if the final So there's our function. And then finally, well, was that it? Was that the final thing that we needed to do? Cinera.c. Extend and, sorry, initial and get. Blimey. So now finally we need to do just a copy string, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we're done. Sort of a bit features, just need to do. See, the initial final string is now a bit longer than it was, interestingly. What happens if if this is like that? That happens. RJ split, so just completely capitulated. So we get S, then we get split, and then we get initial and get final string. So really, initial and get final string should output the final string. That's going to happen, isn't it? Source length, take away the final string base. The length, take it, copy, take away 0, couldn't it? I think let's step in and see what it's doing. So it's this one here. Oh no, are we in debug? Optimized? No, we're not. Just wondering because it seemed to pop straight over that line. So the final string base is equal to the source length minus 1. So it's the T. One of the T's. It's the second T. So that's as expected. Final string base can only go down to 0, right? So if it's greater than 0, this should fail. Final string base should be equal to the source.base plus final string base, which is going to be 0 at the start, rather. The final string length should be equal to the source.length. Take away the final string base. So that should mean that the final string should be equal to the source.length. Shouldn't it? SPLETT. The final string length is equal to the source length taken with the final string base. It's one word. So we increment the final string base. I think I might get it. We increment the final string base. If it's that. That's a -1. Ah. So that's pushing the source back too far. Let's run that again and just watch that final string base. SPLETT. Yeah, so that should be okay. That's going to be looking at the final character. Then it's going to decrement again. Okay, so I guess if at this point the final string base is too low, then you've got to bump it back up again. Unless we do this a bit differently. We do it symmetrically, so it's like vanishing base less than that. Yeah, let's do it the other way. Do it so it's symmetrical. So do like that. I think that should be better for us. So that's 0. We get split out of it. Cool. So that's plus I ink. That's plus I ink. This is minus final string basing. I guess another thing you could actually do here, rather than doing this whole rigmarole, you could sort of say wrap 0i on the source base plus I, and just pass 1. Then you're sorted, aren't you? Where's that wrap function? So same deal here. And then down here, is it? I mean, similarly here, you could just sort of say, so the final string isn't being used until down here. So you could just say this. Sorry. And that should give you the same stuff, shouldn't it? So it's a little bit weird, but it kind of makes use of that wrap 0i function quite nicely. Still check. So yeah, that just does seem to be perfect. Just make sure that it is actually perfect. Richard, yeah. So there's no spurious spaces between anything. So I think these are our functions. Oh right, of course. Yeah, so what we actually want to do is free the abbreviation. And then we want to extend it by the entire name. speaker undeclared. Speakers is right up here. Speaker, so I need to dereference the point. Oh. Push asset. Push credentials. Right, so finally we're down here, aren't we? That file name. So, here we go. Jesus Christ almighty. Finally down here. Actor. Support 1. Icon. It's alright. What should that be? Should be U in 32. So here we go, construct resolved asset URL. So the asset index. So yeah, that should actually have the right thing now, shouldn't it? Finally, copies into buffer. Support URL, so what is it? It's the actual URL, isn't it? The URL location. The URL location. What is the URL exactly? It's old asset URL, and then the data sprites. I think these are the wrong way around, aren't they? Data sprites is equal to that. Yeah, how are these working? The URL and the icon. Data sprites. Where's the data sprite? Data sprite is all of this. So presume that this is correct. And then this is just the... This is just this. Is that right? No, sorry. It's the support URL. Right. Well, actually, where's this been used? It's been used in one place. So we could wrap the username up into thingamajig. I do the casing sensitivity of this. If A and B and strings for T. Could I just move these up? I think it was upwards, wasn't it? 180, yeah. So I also feel like it's more like this, by the way. That should also be case insensitive, that's final comparison. Well, that and that. And um, oh, I think I should check this. And also, like I was saying, to make it properly case insensitive. I think I want to do this. It's just simply sorry, it's just that. Isn't it? Similarly here. credited name. That's kind of unfortunate. You need to wrap this up so that you can actually then pass it past different things. Oh no, I have no void function. Bollocks. Search. Oh, it's because it search credentials. Fine. Who cares? Have we even got found? Yay, so we're building. So this is still being called. But I believe that this push credentials is more like what we want to be doing. So yeah, there's just a lot more untested stuff there. I think before we go, let's just test that strings differ case insensitive. Slow cooking pork for pulled pork sandwiches. Probably by tomorrow you'll have succeeded. Nice. I think I might have succeeded by now as well. Again, I've done so many changes without testing anything. Without testing much. That it's just feeling more and more like if I've got any of this right, if it, like if it works right first time, it'll just be absolutely insane. I think I don't need anything more, do I? No. I don't need a standard lib. So I do need the wrap 0 function. And then, same deal, it's just brilliant. That's all we wanted to see. Perfect. So I think we're satisfied that this is now doing what it needs to do. We do need to call free credentials at some point. And we just need, let's take the config. Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. Get person from config. So I feel like this is all the stuff for the host. Now, if the metadata co-host count is greater than 0, for int I is equal to 0, I is less than the metadata count. If this is 0, this ain't going to start, so we might as well just do the loop, right? Co-host. I think this is doing the right thing now as well. Okay. So I guess we just let that one do it. And then if there's no account, then what this one does is same deal, isn't it? And the please contact me below is garbage. It's just like, please add this person to your config. Yeah, there's no has credits menu. It's just if the credits menu pointer is greater than this. Oh, the one that I typed out, I missed out the S. That was unfortunate. So there we have it, we're building again. And we can delete that search thingamajig file function. So we're flying by the seat of our pants here, because we're not able to run Cinera because we still haven't done all that we need to do. But I believe that we've now at least removed the credentials array from the situation. The final thing to sort out, I think, is getting our story straight with regards to the support icons, the assets when we push those guys on. Right, we need to sort that out. So when we do push credential, we should have a to do somewhere. Push asset, we don't have a to do yet. I think let's do the to do. So where we've got these, where we're passing the asset index around, we want to change that to take a pointer to an actual asset. So we can actually, I mean, strictly speaking, it doesn't have to be actually that. We could do a get asset and have that set the asset index for us. But I don't think we'd necessarily need to do that. I don't think. But I think we need a better story. We need a better story as to when we call push asset for support icons. Well, that's good. Just have to put something up here. If we do this, right, then the asset that it receives, it can pass to these dudes, construct resolve asset and push asset landmark. I think that's what you'd need. And also use the actual asset URL. Buffer URL. Oh, declare buffer happens there. And that's another one of these construct functions, isn't it? That takes a buffer. So I feel like this, as well as the other, remember we changed a bunch of construct functions to return a car star, right? Construct thing. So this actually constructs, well, it allocates space for one of these dudes and puts it on the heap. Yeah, there's a lot of these constructing. I think we'd like to move all of these over to do the same kind of a thing. Then you don't need to bother passing a buffer in. You know, you just stuff it on the stack heap. So let's just leave that as a note for tomorrow. Although I guess we could just to do them, can't we? Yeah, it's quickly to do them. Construct. So, I mean, this is taking a template, not a buffer. Copying it to the temp file path. Copy to the file path. So I guess what you want to be saying here is change the template to be a pointer. Doesn't that? Here's a file, so that can't work. This is busted, right? Because we're doing this, we're setting this pointer to be this, but we're doing a copy string, which isn't going to allocate the space for it. So this is broken. Temp may be 256 bytes long, but that's no help for us when we're trying to write to something that isn't even allocated. So yeah, it's just like all of these dudes need to put the stuff on their stack heap. Right. Seriously. Construct URL prefix. That's a bit of a clearer one because it's taking a buffer. This one is doing the right thing. It's taking a car star, returning a car star rather. As is that. As is that. And it's calling extend string, you can see in the function. So then, by the way, where this would be using a buffer and then declaiming the buffer, you'd actually be freeing the thing. I like how this just takes the buffer search URL and nothing else. I guess because it can use the current project, yeah, current project base URL. Oh shit. Allocator return a car start as the other construct functions do, so I'll let that just sit there, percolating. Slow cooking. Okay. So yeah, we've got those dues to do. We've got those dues to do, and we've got this support icons, these dudes, to somehow figure out how we're going to get rid of them, basically. Because we don't need a record of, we don't need this record of these sprites here, because these are mentioned in the config, and they will by default be in there, unless somebody changes, unless somebody goes in and configures what a support Patreon without they configure support Patreon whose icon is set to something other than this, basically, which would be fair game. That would be something they could do. And in fact, if they do that, then this inability assets, yeah, so this, think deeply about how and when we push these support icon assets on. If they do that, then this would break because they just don't have those assets. So those are the things I think that we need to tackle next. It is just changing the construct functions to return a car star, which is pretty easy, and then getting these support icons, figuring out when to push them on. So yeah, that's it. How long have we done? Another 3 and a bit hours. So we've done about 6 hours stuff today. And we've done alright. We've got the project info array out of the picture. And we've got the medium info array out of the picture too. So now we're purely working on the stuff that's come from the config. We've also got rid of the credentials array. We've just done that in the last 3 or 4 hours. We're done with Cinera. Yeah, I mean, we're not exactly that. We still haven't run it. Like, the last time I ran this program would have been a couple of weeks ago when I did Handmade Hero. When I handled the latest episode of Handmade Hero. I haven't even run it. I didn't even run it before we started to change all this stuff. So, like, if I do get diff, this is still 31%. So there's like 600 lines of this stuff. Oh, sorry, 6,000 lines of difference. Guess that isn't going to strictly be true. It's not going to fully reflect the things that have changed. But I've changed all this stuff and haven't run it together, so definitely just fly by the seat of our pants. But anyway, yeah, that's all for today. Pretty knackered. Gonna go get some supper, probably watch some TV, maybe play some Heavy Rain on the PS4. The SVN does new colours. I think, is it Vimpager that handles the colours for me? I've got a feeling it might be. Yeah, so the ddiff tool, the tool is vim diff. So yeah, try have a look at that. Oops. If you can set subversions diffing thing. And that's not actually vim diff. I'm not sure how I got it. Maybe you just download it from Vim scripts or something. Ah, maybe it comes with it, maybe. Okay, so it comes with a Vim. So if you can set your thing to do that. I just lost a thing that I wanted. That's what I want. Alright. Yes, that's all you lot. That's all you've got for today. Yeah, until next time. Thank you very much for tuning in, Heroes and Heroines, for being beautiful and fantastic, and most of all for being sparkling. Until next time, farewell for now.